Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Make It Yourself. First of all, a very happy new year to everybody. And as you can see, today we are going to make a very cute little project. So this is called as a towel topper or a towel holder, and they're in the shape of cute little dresses, and you can hang your towel under it where there is a hidden ring available. You can use them in your kitchen to hold your kitchen towels or your hand towels. You can also use them in your bathroom to hang the hand towels, or you can also use it inside your wardrobe to hold your scarves or any similar items. And you can remove the towel holder using these buttons in this manner. And let's get started on the tutorial. So this is a mini dress which has a hidden ring. This is the hidden ring, and here I have not added the buttons yet, so you have to add the buttons on the both side, and this loops will be used to close the buttons. So I'll be teaching you from scratch how to make this mini dress. So we'll be using two different color of yarn and a crochet hook of size 3.5 mm. So the details on the yarn and the hook will be available in the description of this video as well. So making a slip knot, and then we are going to chain 40. So we're just going to go ahead and make chains till we have 40 counts of chain. And this I'm starting off with this light green yarn. So as you have seen in the sample, I had used white and red. So instead of the white color, here I'm using this light green color. So once you're done with a chain of 40, you will find the first stitch. So just pull the chain like this so that it is on the same side, and find the first stitch, and into the first stitch we're going to insert our hook and going to make a slip stitch. So just pull a loop under the chain and pull the loop under the stitch also. So we have made a slip stitch. Now we're going to make a chain of 3. This chain of 3 we're going to consider it as one double crochet. Now we're going to make one more double crochet into the next chain. So while making the double crochet, we are also holding the tail yarn under it so that we can stitch over it. You need not do this. In that case, what you can do is at the end you can stitch the tail yarn in using a needle. So here I prefer to crochet over the tail yarn and hide it while I am working on my project. So for this is the round 1, and in this round we are just going to make one double crochet over each chain. So since we had made a chain of 40, so by the end of this round you should have a total of 40 double crochets. So here, as you can see, I am making the double crochets over the tail yarn as well. If you find this difficult, you can omit this step and you can just leave the tail yarn and you can stitch it in later with a needle. So we'll just continue making this double crochet, that is one double crochet in each chain, and we will do this till the end of this round. It's a bit wobbly when you work over the chains, but it gets better with the next round when you have stitches. So this round, just try to complete and make one double crochet uh, over each chain. So here I'm almost at the end of this round. I have few more chains left to make the double crochet on. So this is the last stitch of the chain, and we are making a last double crochet over it, and now I have 40 double crochets. So now the chain 3 that we had at the beginning, under it we are going to make a slip stitch, and then we are going to make a chain of 3 for the next round, and this chain of 3 is considered as the first double crochet. Now for round 2, the pattern is one double crochet and one increase in the next stitch. So this chain 3 is the first double crochet. So in the next stitch we are going to make 2 double crochets. So this is the second double crochet in the same stitch. Now again in the next stitch we will make one double crochet. Then into the next stitch you're going to make an increase, that is we're going to make 2 double crochets in the same stitch, then one double crochet in the next, and an increase into the next stitch. So we're making 2 double crochets in this. So we will be repeating this pattern till the end of this round, and we should have a total of 60 double crochets by the end of this round. So let's complete this pattern till the end of the round. So here I'm almost done. I have few stitches left, and I am continuing this till the end of the round. So here I am making 2 double crochets in this stitch and one double crochet in the next, and 2 double crochets in this, and one double crochet in the next, and in the last stitch we are going to make 2 more double crochets. So here again we are going to slip stitch under the first double crochet or the chain 3. So here, as you can see, this white part that we have done here is the green part here. Now we are going to change our color, and we are going to use a maroon color. So we are going to change color now. So for that we take the other color and make a slip knot, and this slip knot we are going to pull it under the chain 3, the first chain 3 that we made at the beginning of round 2. So under that we are going to pull the slip knot. So put your hook under it and then pull the slip knot of the new yarn. Now pull this slip knot under the green loop, that is the last stitch, that is the last loop of the green yarn also. So we made a slip stitch here. So after this, for the next round we are going to make a chain of 3, and this chain of 3 will be the first double crochet of our round 3. So make a chain of 3, and now we are going to trim the green yarn because we are no longer going to need the green yarn here. So keep a bit of length and trim the green yarn. Now I am planning to work on top of the tail yarns, so I will pull this maroon tail yarn to the other side so that I have the green and the maroon tail yarn on the same side, and I'm going to work over them as well while I make my stitches. You can leave them and stitch them in later, and that is up to you. So now what I'm going to do is, for this round, is just make one double crochet over each stitch. So for round 3, just make one double crochet over each stitch. So since in round 2 we had 60 double crochets, so for round 3 also we will be having 60 double crochets, because we have not made any increase or decrease. The only thing that we have done is we have changed the color. So this is a simple pattern, and we're just going to continue making one double crochet over each stitch. And while doing that, I am also holding the two tail yarns under my stitches, such that they also gets hidden under my stitches. So as you can see, my tail yarn are hidden under the stitches, and now it's easier for me to make the rest of the double crochets. So keep making the stitches until you reach the last stitch. So here we are almost at the end of round 3. We have two more stitches left. So make a double crochet on the next stitch and make one more double crochet on the last stitch. So now we are going to end this round by making a slip stitch under the chain 3. So put your hook under the chain 3 and then make a slip stitch. So I'm using a white paper for the background so that you can see the stitches more properly. So now we're going to make a chain of 10. This chain of 10, we are going to slip stitch it back to the same stitch, and we are going to use this loop to close the buttons. So into the same stitch, go back and make a slip stitch. So as you can see, we have a loop available here. So with this we'll be closing our buttons. So now make a chain of 3, and this will be considered as a first double crochet. Now we are working on the back side of our dress. So to make the back side of our dress, this is our first row for the back side. We are going to make 18 double crochets on the next 18 stitches. So make one double crochet on each stitch until you have done this for 18 stitches. So continue making the double crochets till you have made double crochets over the next 18 stitches. So the first chain of 3 is considered as one double crochet, plus this 18 double crochet will give you a total of 19 double crochet, and at the end we are going to chain 3 and slip stitch. That will be our 20th double crochet. So a total of 20 stitches we are going to use for the back side of the dress. So now we have completed 18 stitches. Now make a chain of 3 and into the next stitch make a slip stitch. So we have used up 20 stitches, and now to make the second button loop we are going to chain a 10 again. And we are going to slip stitch this chain to the same stitch again. So the back side of the dress will have these button loops on both sides, and the front side will have the buttons. So we turn our work, and now we bring the yarn under it. So take the yarn and bring it under our work to the other side, and now push the button loop forward, and under the chain of 3 make a slip stitch. So we are moving on to the next row. So make a chain of 3, which is our first double crochet. So this is our loop, and here's a chain of 3, and into the first stitch make 1 and 2 double crochets. So for the row number 2 the pattern is 1 double crochet and an increase in the next stitch. So make 1 double crochet in one stitch and make 2 double crochets in the next stitch. So by the end of this round we should have a total of 30 double crochets. So make 1 double crochet and another double crochet in the same stitch. So in the next stitch we are going to make 1 double crochet. Into the next we are going to make an increase. So continue this till the end of this row. So we have 2 buttonholes on both sides, and let's continue this till the end of the row. So here we have 2 more stitches left. So we are going to make stitches over them. So make 1 double crochet and 1 more double crochet, because this is an increase in this stitch. So there'll be 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and do not forget the chain of 3, that is also considered as a stitch. So over that we will be making 2 more double crochets. So just go under it and complete 2 more double crochets. Now chain 3, this is a double crochet for the next row, and turn your work. So as you can see the shape of the dress is getting created, and we can already see the fanning out happening here. So let's continue. So for the third row, for the back side, we are just going to make 1 double crochet in each stitch. So we will still have 30 double crochets overall. So just make 1 double crochet over each of the stitch. So continue this till the end of this row. So here we are almost at the end of this row. So we are going to make 1 double crochet over each stitch. So make double crochet in the next stitch, make 1 more double crochet on the next stitch, and 1 more on this stitch. Do not skip the chain 3. We will be making a stitch by pulling a loop under it. So here we are done. Now for row 4 we are going to first chain 1 and turn our work. Now we are going to make a fan stitch into the very first stitch. So for a fan stitch, first you're going to make 4 double crochets into the stitch. So this is the 4th double crochet. Now skip one stitch and make a slip stitch into the next stitch. Now skip another stitch after the slip stitch and make 4 double crochet in the next stitch. So the first double crochet, second double crochet, third, and the fourth. Now again skip one stitch and slip stitch in the next stitch. So we'll be continuing this same pattern. So what you'll be doing is be skipping a stitch, making 4 double crochets, skipping another stitch, making a slip stitch, skipping another stitch, and making another 4 set of double crochet. So continue this same pattern till the end of this row. So here we are almost at the end of this row. So we have made a slip stitch, so we're skipping one stitch and making 4 double crochets. This is the second double crochet, the third double crochet, and the fourth double crochet. Skip one stitch and then make a slip stitch. Now skip one stitch, skip one stitch and make 4 more double crochets over this last stitch. This second double crochet, this is the third double crochet, and this is the fourth double crochet. And now make one single crochet under the chain of 3, chain 1, and then trim the yarn. So we are done with the backside part of the dress. So trim the yarn. Now we will have to make the front part of the dress. So we can fold it this way, and you can see that the back part is ready and it has the 2 loops on both sides for the buttons to go in. So we will be using 2 stitch markers to mark the stitches where we are going to make the front part. So from the last stitch that we just did, so from this end we are going to count, and we are going to count 10 stitches after the loop. So count 10 stitches and mark the 11th stitch. So 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So on the 11th stitch we are going to place our first marker. Now count 20 stitches from it. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20. So on the 20th stitch place the next marker. So these are the stitches on which we are going to make our front side, and you will see the remaining stitches that are there will be having 10 stitches remaining on the other side. So we are going to join the maroon yarn. We are going to make a slip knot now, and this slip knot we are going to pull it under the first marked stitch. You can remove the marker now, and we are going to do almost similar to what we did on the other side. So only difference is on the front side we do not need the loops for the buttons. So make a chain of 3, which is going to be the first double crochet, and for this row 1 of the front side we are just going to make 19 double crochets. So the first one, chain of 3, is considered as a double crochet. So by the end of this row we should have a total of 20 double crochets, and keep making this double crochets, one double crochet in each stitch till you reach the other marker, and you should have a total of 20 double crochets by the end of this row. So we are almost at the end of this row, and we are making this double crochet here in the last stitch and then into the marked stitch. So we should have a total of 20 double crochet including the chain of 3. Now make a chain of 3 again for the next row and then turn your work. This chain 3 is considered as the first double crochet. Now for this row the pattern is 1 double crochet and 1 increase in the next stitch. So after the chain of 3, which is our first double crochet, into the next stitch we are going to make an increase. So make 2 double crochets in the next stitch and then make another double crochet in the next stitch, then make an increase in the next stitch, that is make 2 double crochets in the next stitch. So continue this pattern for the second row of the front side till you reach the last stitch, and you should have a total of 30 double crochets by the end of this row. So here we are almost at the end of this row. So we are going to make 2 double crochets in the next stitch, that is we're making an increase in the next stitch. Then make 1 double crochet over the next stitch, and do not forget the chain of 3, that is also a stitch. So we are going to make 2 double crochets by pulling the loop under it. Now make a chain of 3 for our third row, and this row we are just going to make 1 double crochet over each stitch. So we will still have 30 double crochets by the end of this row. So this is pretty simple, just make 1 double crochet over each stitch, and let's meet at the end of this row. So here we are almost at the end of this row, and the reason why I am always showing the end part of each row is because I do not want you to skip the stitch over the chain of 3. So pull a loop under the chain of 3 and make the last double crochet over it. Now for the next row, chain 1 and turn your work. In this row we are going to make fan stitches. So start your first fan into the very first stitch, that is make 4 double crochets in the first stitch. After the 4 stitches, skip 1 stitch and into the next stitch make a slip stitch. Now skip one more stitch and make 4 more double crochets in the next stitch. After that, skip one stitch and slip stitch into the next stitch, and repeat this pattern till the end of this row. So here we are at the end of this row, and we are going to make our last fan into this last stitch. So in the last and the first stitch alone, when we make our fan, we do not skip any stitch, and we just immediately make a single crochet in the last stitch. So we have this chain of 3. Under that we are going to put a hook and make a single crochet, and then we are going to chain 1, pull the yarn tight, and then trim off this yarn. So here we are done with the front part also. So you can fold it this way and you can see that the little dress is almost ready. We have to stitch in the tail yarns and we have to stitch the buttons also. So I'll show you how to stitch in tail yarn. So you can use a crochet hook also, or you can use a needle. So if you use a needle, you need to leave a longer tail yarn. So here I am just using a crochet hook and pulling the tail yarn through the existing stitches so as to hide the tail yarn. So you can keep pulling the tail yarn under multiple stitches till you are sure that the yarn will not come loose, and it is once it is hidden properly, you can trim off the excess. So similarly, stitch in all the other tail yarns. So now we need to add the hidden ring where we will be hanging our towel. So for that we are going to use the stitches under these loops. So we are going to mark them first. So the slip stitch that we had made um, before making the loop, that slip stitch we are going to mark with one of the marker, and on the other side also you can mark the slip stitch and place another marker. Now take the maroon yarn and make a slip knot and pass this, remove the marker, and then under this stitch insert the hook and pull the slip knot to the other side. Now insert your hook into the slip knot and then make a slip stitch. After this we are going to make a chain. So in my case I have made a chain of 30. You can make any length that you feel is suitable for you. The it should not be short, so that it should be long enough such that you should be able to connect it to the other marker on the other side, and it should not be too tight also, so leave a little bit of slack, and then make sure you are able to reach the other marker. So for me a chain of 30 worked, and you can use, and this is flexible, you can use whatever amount of chain is good for you. Now under the other slip stitch, under the other stitch we are going to make a slip stitch there, and then turn your work and make a slip stitch over the chain. Now you're going to make single crochets over the chain. So just keep making single crochets over the chain. There is no particular count of how many single crochets you need. So make a single crochet and push that single crochet to the side, and then make another single crochet. So you should be able to cover the entire length of the chain. So keep making single crochets until the entire length of the chain is covered in single crochet. So here I have covered almost the entire length of the or entire length of the chain. So I am at the end, towards the end, so I am making few more single crochets, and once I feel that I have made enough single crochets to cover the chain, I'm going to then make a slip stitch at the other end. So I'm going to put my hook, or insert my hook into the very first stitch where I had connected the chain, and then make a slip stitch. Now chain one and trim the yarn. So you have both the tail yarns on this side, and you can use a needle or a crochet hook and stitch it in. And as you can see, our hidden ring here is ready. So the next thing that we need to do is stitch in the buttons. So place the buttons at the correct position, and use a needle and a thread of similar color as the dress, and um, pull the needle through the holes of the button. Leave a tail at one end of the button. So based on the type of button you have, whether it's a 2-hole or 4-hole buttons, you can insert the needle into them a number of times, then rotate it under the button and pull it to the other side. Now with the tail yarn that we had left, and with the other end, we are going to place some knots, and then you can trim off the yarn. So similarly place the button on the other side also. Here you can see that I have placed contrasting color buttons on both the dresses, and they look super cute. And that's just the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please leave your comments for any suggestions or any doubts that you have, and also do subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon for notifications on new videos, and give me a thumbs up if this video was useful. Have a great day guys, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.